Welcome to Unicate Talks, where science meets everyday life. At Unicate College, we believe the discoveries happening in laboratories today have the power to change how we live tomorrow. And today, we're talking about a breakthrough that could reshape our understanding of weight loss, fat metabolism, and human health. Imagine if the key to burning more fat wasn't only about exercising harder or eating less, but about controlling a single nutrient in your diet. That nutrient is an amino acid called cysteine. And new research shows that changing cysteine intake can act like a switch, reprogramming fat cells from storing calories to burning them. Cysteine is one of the amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. Our bodies can make some cysteine on their own, but much of it comes from the food we eat every day. It's important for building proteins, supporting the immune system, and making antioxidants like glutathione. Researchers at Yale and other institutions have shown that reducing cysteine intake in mice flipped a metabolic switch. The mice started burning fat at a much higher rate, even without changing how much they ate or how active they were. Within just a week, the mice lost significant weight. This happened because their white fat, the kind that normally stores energy, shifted toward behaving more like brown fat, which burns energy as heat. So, where do we normally get cysteine from? It's found in many common foods, especially those high in protein. The foods highest in cysteine in an everyday diet include chicken and turkey, especially lean breast meat. Pork and beef are also rich sources, often eaten as chops, steaks, or mince. Eggs and dairy products such as cheese, milk, and yogurt are significant contributors. Seafood like salmon, tuna, crab, and shrimp contain plenty of cysteine. Plant foods also contribute. Beans, lentils, sunflower seeds, and sesame seeds all provide cysteine. Even vegetables like garlic, onions, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts contain cysteine precursors that the body can use. In short, cysteine isn't rare. It's present in many of the foods we eat every day. That's why the discovery is so important, because changing the levels of something so common could have a big impact on health. The research in animals was striking. When cysteine was reduced, mice lost up to 30% of their body weight in just 1 week. When cysteine was added back into their diet, the weight came back. That tells us cysteine isn't just linked to metabolism, it actively controls it. What about humans? A clue comes from the Calorie-2 human trial. In this study, people who reduced their calories by about 15% for 2 years showed lower levels of cysteine in their fat tissue. That drop in cysteine may have been part of why calorie restriction improved their metabolic health. Other studies suggest that people with higher cysteine levels in the blood tend to have more obesity and insulin resistance. That means managing cysteine intake could be a pathway to healthier weight and metabolism. Let's pause. At Unicate College, we see these discoveries as part of a bigger story, the story of how diet interacts with our biology. It's not just about counting calories, it's about learning how the food we eat interacts with our body's switches and signals. If you'd like to explore nutrition and metabolic health in depth, visit Unicate and see how our courses can guide your journey. So, does this mean people should stop eating cysteine-rich foods? Not exactly. Cysteine is essential for health. It helps with immunity, antioxidant defenses, and other important processes. Cutting it out entirely would be dangerous. The science suggests something more subtle. Lowering cysteine intake, rather than eliminating it, may encourage fat to burn instead of store. Plant-based diets, for example, are naturally lower in cysteine than meat-heavy diets. This could partly explain why vegetarian diets often show benefits for weight management and metabolic health. Researchers are careful to say that more human studies are needed. The evidence in animals is strong, but people are more complex. The next step is to test whether adjusting cysteine levels in human diets can safely trigger fat burning without side effects. If the results hold, it could pave the way for new therapies for obesity and metabolic disease. Imagine medications or diet plans that target cysteine to help the body naturally switch into fat-burning mode. For now, the lesson is clear. Cysteine is a key player in metabolism. It's not just about how much we eat, but about what nutrients control our body's switches. And in this case, one small amino acid may hold big potential. As we close today's episode, think about how discoveries like this shift the conversation. We used to believe weight loss was only about willpower, calories, and exercise. Now, we know biology and metabolism matter just as much. By learning how molecules like cysteine work, we're finding smarter, science-driven ways to improve health. At Unicate College, we're committed to turning discoveries into education and education into healthier communities. If you want to explore these connections, join us on the journey. Thank you for listening to Unicate Talks. Stay curious, stay informed, and remember, sometimes the smallest molecules can make the biggest difference.